Hi everybody, welcome to Trisha's View. If you're new here, please consider clicking the follow button. If you want to make sure that you never miss a video, then click the bell and you'll receive notifications. Hi, thanks for joining us today on Trisha's View. Today we're going to be making our jalapeno popper chicken, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the food processor together so that we can chop up our pork rinds. When we grind up the pork rinds, I don't do the entire bag at one time. I do it a little at a time. So excuse the noise if you can. It'll be very loud. I think I might pause filming while I'm chopping. We'll come back when it's done. Okay, we have ground up the entire bag. We'll only use around a cup of the pork rind dust for this recipe, but I go ahead and do the whole bag at one time and then store it in the pantry. For later use, for things like use this as breading on anything fried, filling for meatloaf instead of crackers or breadcrumbs, anything that you would use breadcrumbs for, or panko. Pork rinds is good for. Next, we're going to dice the bacon. We're using this type. It's got 0 carbs, but because of the ingredients, it more than likely has at least 1 carb or near 1 carb per serving. But it is uncured bacon. It has water, pork, of course, water, salt, turbino sugar. I'm probably not saying that right. And seasonings. And because it has sugar, which would be a very trace amount, we'll count it as a carb. But this recipe, popper chicken, it calls for 2 slices of bacon, diced. I'm going to dice it and I'm going to fry it up because you incorporate it in the filling. And of course, 2 slices would be 4 half slices. We're going to set this aside and put it away in a minute. But not all bacon is created the same. You have to really read your labels, and if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask in the comment section below. But we dice the bacon, and next we're going to fry it up. So now we're going to just get the stove started. And I'm going to cook the bacon till it's crispy, so that we can then add it to the cream cheese and cheddar cheese and jalapenos that will be the stuffing for the chicken. So I'll come back when the bacon is all cooked and crispy. Okay, there we have it. Our bacon is crispy and ready to set aside and let it cool off so that we can add it to our cheese mix. Right now, we're going to use half of this, 4 ounces. The whole thing is 8, but we're going to be using 4 ounces today. And I'm going to soften it up in the microwave. Microwave for about, I'm going to do 20 seconds. Soften it so that the cheese will incorporate in the bacon, and you can then slather it. I don't know if that's the right word. You can then smooth it onto the chicken breast before you roll it up, batter the chicken, and bake it in the oven. Next, we're going to measure out our sliced pickled jalapenos. This recipe calls for 1/4 cup. We're gonna measure it out, and then we're gonna roughly chop or dice so that when we mix it in with our cheese, it's even throughout. I haven't found a whole lot of difference in the carb counts on the pickled jalapenos. They all tend to run about the same, which is 1 carb per serving, and 1 serving is an ounce. Let's see how much a 1/4 cup, how many ounces a 1/4 cup is. Use my food scale. I'm going to put a saucer on it before I turn it on, and then that way I'll just dump the jalapenos on it. So remember, it's 1 carb for an ounce, and a 1/4 cup is right at 1.59 ounces. So that means that our 1/4 cup of diced jalapenos is going to be around, what, 1.5 carbs, just to add to the recipe. So just always be aware that your ingredients matter, they count. The verywellfit.com is what I use most often to figure the carb count of my recipes. I highly recommend that you go to their webpage and you bookmark it, and you'll find yourself going back to it over and over and over again, because it is so helpful to plug in your ingredients and find out exactly how many carbs your recipe is per serving. This will make 2 servings. I'm going to use 2 chicken breasts. I'll show you in a minute. We'll get them out and pound them thin. Got to pound them out to make a flat surface to put the cheese filling on. And if you like the jalapeno poppers that you get in the freezer section or at the bowling alley, that has the cheese mixture and then the breading, this is my take on how to do a chicken breast that way. It will have the breading, which it will be the pork rinds. Now I'm going to get my food processor back out, and I'm going to shred some of the cheese. I'm going to shred the whole thing of cheese, but we don't use the whole block for this recipe. Okay, now we have our cheese shredded, and this recipe calls for a 1/2 cup. So we're going to measure out a 1/2 cup of the shredded cheese. It's when you shred it yourself, it's stickier than, because it's not coated with the potato starch that of the cheese that you buy pre-shredded in the grocery store. The potato starch tends to add a few more carbs. This cheese was the Great Value extra sharp cheddar, and it is a serving is 1 ounce, and it's less than a carb per serving. Let's check again to see how many ounces our cheese is. Since we know that it is less than a carb per ounce, we're going to see how many ounces a 1/2 cup of the cheddar cheese tends to be. Okay, that's in there. That may be a little more, because, like I said, because of it sticking together, it's hard to get it fully down in there. So we'll see how much a 1/2 cup half a cup is almost 2 servings, which means that you would count that. Since this is less than 1, it helps if you count it as 1 per serving. So this would be approximately 2 carbs for the half cup cheese. So next, we'll mix the, this is the melted cream cheese, the cheddar cheese, the jalapenos, and I'm going to add the bacon that we browned up a while ago. Try not to get all of the bacon grease, but some of the bacon grease, it won't hurt anything. Just adds some good, tasty, healthy fat to up the fat of our chicken breast, because our chicken breasts are pretty lean meat, and you want to add fat if you're going to enjoy the chicken breast on the keto meal. You need to up the fat on it just a bit. I also am going to add some diced the green onion, the green part. Not much. I'm just going to use a tablespoon just to give it a little flavor. It doesn't really need any salt, but we will, with our breading to the chicken, we'll add some pepper to give it a little flavor. All right, well, there you go. That's what our filling looks like for our chicken. It's got jalapenos, the cream cheese, the cheddar cheese, bacon, and green onions. Now we're going to get the chicken out of the fridge and get it ready to show you how to prep that. Okay, I turned the oven on to 375 to let it be preheating. These are the chicken breasts that we're going to use. They're just Walmart chicken breasts. It says Sanderson Farms, but it's not necessarily. It doesn't have to be any typical or any brand of chicken breast. We want 2 chicken breasts. I'm gonna save the small one and the bigger one for a later recipe. I'm gonna think I might do chicken pot pie. My husband's really been wanting one of those. But anyway, with the chicken breast, what we need to do is we need to, first of all, let me wash the chicken off my hands so that I can touch the Glad. I don't want to get the contamination from the raw chicken on my pressing seal. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to roll out some Glad pressing seal, and we're going to place it over the chicken breast, and we're going to use our mallet, and we're just going to gently pound it thin. Let me move this so it doesn't drop. Okay. You just want a thin, uniform piece of meat to make it easy to put the filling in so that we can roll it up and get the breading on it. You don't want to pound it so much that the meat rips, but you do want to pound it so that it's nice and flat. There we go. I think that's got it. I don't know if you can see from there. But this is what I'm talking about. Kind of flat so that you can put the filling in it and then roll it up. And the filling will be there. So I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to stuff it and how to bread it, and we'll get it in the oven baking. Okay, now we're ready to finish our chicken up to get it in the oven. First of all, we need a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. dip the chicken in before we put our breading on. So I'm going to get that ready, mix it up, and then like I said, it's just a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise and 1 egg. It helps the breading stick. Okay, next we're going to take one of our chicken breasts, lay it out, get our filling, and just spread it out evenly as you can. It's kind of hard to spread cheese on a chicken breast, but as evenly as you can. And then we roll it up so that the cheese mixture is inside. And we're going to secure it with some wooden toothpicks. Just helps keep it closed up a bit. Okay, some of the cheese will ooze out. I'm going to set it over here and do the other one. Okay. A messy job, but it makes a delicious supper that I am sure that my husband will appreciate when he gets home from work. Okay, and we're ready to roll this one. You just roll it up just to get it closed in and secure it with the toothpicks. Okay, next what we're going to do is, remember we crushed up our pork rinds. I'm going to add that into the bowl, and I'm going to grab some pepper and add just a little bit of pepper to the pork rind mix, just to give it a little bit of spice, not much. Okay, next we are going to dip our chicken in the mayonnaise egg mixture and roll it around just to get it good and coated. And then we're going to dip it in our pork rinds. Get it good and coated. It's prepped and ready to go into the oven, and I will come back and show you what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. Okay, the chicken's been cooking for 45 minutes. We're going to take it out and see what we've got. Oh wow, that's pretty. Look at that. So it's cooked through. We're gonna put one on a plate and cut into it and show you all the cheesy goodness. Take the toothpicks out. All right. See, it cooked all the way through, the cheese and the jalapenos. Give it a taste. We'll see how it tastes. It's hot. That is so good. I hope if you decide to make this recipe that you enjoy it as much as we do. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please click the thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And if you haven't already, please check out my blog at trishasview.com.